So I thought I'd make a lovely chicken soup for my lunch. Feeling a bit run down and I think I've got a cold coming, so I thought, right, chicken soup, they say good for the soul and good for a cold. So here we are, boiling up. Had these in the freezer, couple of chicken legs, and I'm going to try it this way. It's not something, I don't usually do it this way, but let's see what happens. So that was bubbling away for about 40 minutes. So I've just removed the chicken. Going to leave that to cool slightly. And then we've got the stock. There's a lot of goodness in this, but as you can see, there's also a lot of fat on the surface. So I'm going to just let that cool down and try and scrape off some of that fat. So yeah, just put that in a bowl and I've put that to one side. And now I'm going to fry some onions. So yeah, got one about this size. I think this is probably about adequate for what I need. Right, so got some oil here that I've had garlic diffusing in. It's olive oil. So I'm just going to use this to fry the onions in. So pop that in there. That's plenty. And then put my onions in. So onions are frying nicely there, just on a gentle heat. And I'm just going to add some other veggies now. Had a look in the fridge, just see whatever I've got left that needs using up. That's the beauty about soups, you really can just use whatever you think goes really. I found this pepper that's going a little bit wrinkly. Yeah, I'll chuck that in as well. Who knows how it's going to come out. That's what I love about soups. You can just throw in whatever you like. If it needs a bit more seasoning, whatever, you can just add that. But yeah, really easy. So this is kind of just my lunchtime soup in my break. So okay, I'll get the veggies chopped and they can go in as well. Right, so just chopped up a few sprouts. I'm going to add that into the pan and some carrots. Yeah, I love making soups. It reminds me when I used to have an allotment and I used to have all this surplus veg, and I'd come home after a Saturday morning up there digging and think, oh, what can I do? And I'd just make a soup just like within half an hour. Probably the healthiest I've ever been when I had that allotment. It's really good for like my digestion and everything. But of course it all takes time doing that kind of thing. Anyway, here we go. I'll add this to the pan. There we go. As I say, a great way to use up any veggies that are just going over a bit. So just kind of peeled these sprouts. They were looking a little bit brown, leaves, but it's fine. So just chuck them in there now. So more veggies to add into the pan, which is just going to go in here. And then need to think what I'm going to do with the stock. So there's not a huge amount of stock. So I'm going to try and drain off the fat from that, and then I'll need to sort of add a bit more water, maybe stick a chicken stock cube in as well to give it a bit of flavouring, I think. So I'm going for about a pint of boiling water and just going to add in a chicken stock cube to this. And that's now going to be added into the vegetable mix here. So I'm going to cook that for probably about 15 minutes or so, let it soften, and then I'm going to add some of this chicken stock because there's a lot of goodness there, and then once that's nearly ready, I will add in pieces of chicken at the end. I made a mistake a few years ago of making chicken soup and adding the chicken from scratch at the early stage, and it ended up like eating a bowl of boiled string. Actually, it wasn't very pleasant. So I'm going to add the chicken in at the end, just to give it some final thing there. So managed to take off a bit of the fat from the stock here, and then I'm going to add that into the saucepan. And one thing you mustn't forget, which I nearly did, is the salt and pepper seasoning. So I'm going to add in a dash of that as well. As you can see, the veggies are really soft and just right now. So I'm going to give them a quick blend. I've got a hand blender here. Actually, I've had that about 20 years. Thoroughly recommend getting one of these. The best thing you can have in the kitchen. So I'm going to give that a blend. I don't want to overdo it, because sometimes it's nice to have a bit of texture to the soup, but it looks to me like I need a little bit more water in here, so I'm going to add that in now. So to the blended soup, I'm going to add a little bit of cream, just it gives it a lovely sort of smooth touch. And give that a stir. It's quite a thick soup, this. There's a lot of goodness in it. Okay, might give it a little bit more. And I'm just going to test it for seasoning. Yeah, definitely needed more black pepper there. But yeah, really pleased with that. So now the final thing, I'm going to add in the chicken. The chicken pieces I pulled off the leg. I would certainly say there's more veg than chicken in this recipe, but that's okay. So it's a vegetable and chicken soup as opposed to a chicken and vegetable soup. But yeah, there's a lot of goodness in this, and it's certainly a really nice winter warming recipe. So yeah, I'll put that in. So I've just added the chicken pieces, stirred that in, and there we go. That's it. Soup's all finished. In fact, I think I need to have a bit of a party here, because it's more than just me, and this lot is going to last for, well, a while, I should say. I think I'll be freezing some extra portions, which is another little tip. So there we are. Okay, enjoy your soup.